everybody, I'm MilkWeedFan93 and this is my life. Before I get started, I'm just going to explain something about my camera right now. As you can see, it's very yellow. If I put my hands closer, it gets lighter, and then if I remove it, it's more yellow. And that is because my wall is not covered in posters. They used to be covered in brown posters, twilight posters, dark posters, so it would bring out the lightness that it's supposed to be. So this is actually what the coloring is. And then it turns really dark yellow. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I sure can. So today I'm going to review this book called Milkweed by Jerry Spinelli. It's the winner of the Newbery Medal for Maniac Magi. So here is what it looks like. It's a very thin book. It's only 200 pages, and it's a reader's circle book. This book is about a boy in the time of in World War II, during the Nazi regime, or whatever you'd like to call it. And basically, it's kind of a lighter-hearted story. Like if you read Night by Elie Wiesel, or anything by Elie Wiesel, or there was another one, but I can't remember. But any Holocaust books are always very sad, very, you cry a lot in those kind of books, and you don't cry in this book, or at least not that much, I don't think. I didn't. And it kind of brings out the happiness in the Holocaust, which wasn't very much, but they made what they could, with this book. And it is based on a young boy. I'm going to read the back to you right now. He's a boy called Jew, gypsy, stop thief, filthy son of Abraham. He's a boy who lives on the streets of Warsaw. He's a boy who steals food for himself and the other orphans. He's a boy who believes in bread and mothers and angels. He's a boy who wants to be a Nazi with tall, shiny jackboots of his own, until the day that suddenly makes him change his mind. And when the trains come to empty the Jews from the ghetto of the damned, he's a boy who realizes it's safest to be nobody at all. So that's what it says in the back, and it was a very quick read. There's not a lot of hard words in it, and there's lots of like funny bits and kind of devastating bits that aren't things that make you cry, but they're definitely something that make you think. This book kind of, it's like, in a way, it idolizes the Nazi for some of the book, because if you think about it, in those eyes of a small child, you see these men marching, and it's like a parade, and they're all wearing shiny boots and perfect uniforms, and they're all smiling, or they all seem really friendly. So it kind of idolizes them in that way because it's a kid's perspective until near the end of the book. And it was a good book. I give it a 3 out of 5. I would give it a 2 out of 5, but I did very much so enjoy it. So like usually I don't like these kind of books, but this one was really good. I love Night by Elie Wiesel, so it was kind of different. There are sad parts, but they kind of disappear. Like, you get to know the characters, but you're not that attached to the characters that when they disappear or when they go, you're not sad about them. And near the end of the book, we kind of get this confusing part of when he's an adult, where basically he understands that he was born into madness. So when he became regular citizen, when he became a normal person, he didn't fit in, and he was crazy, and that's all there was to it, because he was already born through craziness. So there was nothing normal to him but crazy. And it's very different. It's sad and happy at the same time. And the ending is really good, I think. It's kind of a short ending. Like, you get to the last 2 chapters and you're like, well, what's going on? And you get confused, and then you kind of start to understand it. And it's still kind of confusing, but you get the gist of it. And it ends, and it's kind of on a funny note. But it's a good book. like I said, 3 out of 5, and I could definitely recommend this for anybody to read. Even young children could read this because there isn't a lot of blood. There's not really anything that's particularly bad, but it kind of makes you think, you know, we're lucky. So yeah, that's kind of all I want to say. Just a little background about how I got this book. When I was in school, we have this book fair. Like your borders is like our chapters, and in this book fair, the guy, I got to know him over the years, and he became my personal friend, and he would recommend books to me and kind of almost sucker me into buying them, and I'd buy them, and this is one that I bought, and I never knew if I was going to read it or not, and I finally did, and I'm really glad I did. It's a really good book, and it's really cheap, $6.99 US and $8.99 Canadian. So you can pick it up, or even if you don't want to buy it because it is a Holocaust book, or if you're not into this kind of thing, you can just read it at the library, and I'm sure it'll be perfectly fine. So that, I guess, is another book on the shelf, and I will see you guys again with another review soon.